Alright guys, tonight I'm going to be doing a review of the Arylic S50 Pro and S10, the smaller brother, if you want to. These are both wireless streaming preamplifiers. Support Wi-Fi. This is the S50 Pro. Wi-Fi, aptX, HD, Spotify, AirPlay, multi-room, ESS Saber DAC. We'll touch more on this stuff as well. Wireless, Spotify, AirPlay, multi-room, and this one's also Bluetooth, but they just don't have the logo on the front for some reason. But we'll get those out of the way. We'll set them back over here. We'll start with the little one. This is the S10. Very nice aluminum housing with a...
Hey Dad, where did this come from?
with a looks to be some sort of like an acrylic top. I think there's a... Yep, it needs to be peeled. Yep, there we go. All right, we're gonna go nice and slow. Ready? And I'm spent. But yeah, nice acrylic top. You can see me. Hi. It says play and enjoy sound differently. And then IR remote sensor, light for auxiliary input, light for network input, light for Bluetooth, and light for USB. Now I believe auxiliaries white. Or no, auxiliary is green, network is white, Bluetooth is blue, and USB is green, or red. Yeah. Did I get that right? So, yeah, auxiliary is green, white, blue, red. And on the bottom, you get some nice little feet. Network LAN input if you don't want to do Wi-Fi. USB input for a... this is not to hook a computer to it necessarily. This is to... Well, I think it is, but they also list it as like a USB flash drive with files on it. I think up to 1,024 files. Auxiliary input, auxiliary output. These are 3.5 millimeter, like a headphone jack, and then your 5 volt 1 amp USB power input, which they include a power brick. I already have everything hooked up, so I don't have the cords out, but they do show a description here. This one includes a 3.5 or an auxiliary to auxiliary, or 3.5 to 3.5 millimeter, and then a RCA to 3.5 millimeter, a remote. Cord, USB cord and power brick, the manual, and then the actual device. So that covers this one. I got two here, so I'm gonna try and do both of them in one video. They both perform the same job as a wireless streaming preamplifier, and the main reason they're preamplifiers because they can control the volume. But this is the bigger brother. This is kind of the flagship. This is the S50 Pro. Again, nice aluminum, sturdy housing, nice rubber feet on the bottom, and then this acrylic front, which will peel this one as well. And done. Very, I think both of them have a very good, clean, professional look. These aren't as expensive as, we'll say, some of the name brand wireless streamers, but they still have a good quality feel to them. They don't feel cheap. They feel well made. They have a good weight to them. They do feel like a quality product, even though they are quite a bit more affordable than the name brand ones. And then on the back, this is the Bluetooth antenna, the Wi-Fi antenna, line in. So this is for an analog source. You plug in CD player, your phone, whatever, if you want to do wired. So you get 2 line ins, your analog line out right here, and then you get an optical out and a coaxial out. And then also a USB flash in. Again, I think it's 1,000 up to 1,024 tracks, and then the 5-volt 1-amp power, and then your network LAN if you choose. I did not test the LAN portion of this because I'm not running 25 feet of Ethernet cable from my router to one of these. I'm assuming most people are going to use the Wi-Fi anyway. And then as far as what's included with this one, pretty much the same. You get the 2 antennas come removed from the device, so you got to screw those on. No big deal, easy. Also comes with a remote. You get an RCA to RCA and an RCA to 3.5 millimeter, and again another power plug. So the main difference, just to kind of start here, is like I said, they both kind of serve the same purpose. It's just this one has more features, a better DAC in it. It has aptX, and mostly just more connectivity. It's kind of you get what you need. I think most people would be able to get by with something like this, and the idea is you can put one of these in each room of your home, and then connect them to a audio or a stereo or music player, and stream music to all the rooms in your house, or even have one outside on your porch or your deck if you entertain friends outside. If you had one of these in your kitchen, your living room, one outside, you can set them up to also, they all play the same music, or each one plays something individually. You can link them all together or run them independently. But just for starters, we're going to go, just so we can keep everything covered here. And I'm probably going to miss something, but just to kind of go over everything, we're going to start with this guy, the S10. I think he hovers around $100. This one hovers around $200 to $250, just to get that out of the way. Now on the S10, it says main features, and I'm just going to read the main features right from their pamphlet, just so I can kind of catch everything I can, because it's impossible to memorize all this stuff. It says streaming music via network without distance limitations or Bluetooth 5.0 up to 30 meters. So it is kind of nice. Once you have your phone connected to these on the network, you don't have to worry about the Bluetooth limitations. You connect your device, your phone, your pad, or whatever to it via Wi-Fi, and it's going to connect and stream as long as you're on your network, pretty much anywhere in your house, so as long as you have a good network, good Wi-Fi connection. It supports Spotify Connect, AirPlay, QPlay, DLNA, UPnP, streaming protocol supported. Supports streaming source from online services, smart device memory, USB pen drive, NAS, Bluetooth, and line in. So if you have like a Plex server, I believe you can connect that to it. And I believe there even is a, I can't remember what they call it for FooBar 2000, but there is like an add-on for FooBar 2000, so you can even connect your FooBar 2000 library to these. Multi-room and multi-zone streaming enabled by multiple units connected in the same network. All music sources can be restreamed in sync to other models from us. So basically they all work together. Supports AirPlay, Spotify Connect, QPlay. Do they have that in there twice? They do. And UPnP protocol and third-party app compatible. High-quality music streaming support. Sample rate decoding up to 24-bit 192 kilohertz. So this is another example. When you see like a lot of these DACs or devices like this that they really like to push the 24 192 as a number of to represent its quality, it doesn't mean that it's going to turn all your music into 24-bit 192. It just doesn't work that way. Some DACs and stuff, yes, you can set the sample rate that high, but then it's going to be upsampling, which you can't take an MP3 and upsample it to 24-bit 192 and then call it one. It's not the same. It's just saying basically that these DACs and stuff will support decoding files up to that. So with either one of these, if you have a music library or something hooked to these, and you do have, say, WAV files that are 24-bit 192, these will play them. Supports Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, Qobuz, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Napster, and lots of online streaming services integrated to use in the app. And we'll see, there's a whole list in there once we get into the app. Full functioning remote control to use without your cell phone or your pad. I've been using these quite a bit, and I've actually been able to found it easier to just control the devices, whether I'm using my phone or my pad. But if you didn't want to, they do include this nice little remote, and we can go over the buttons. Obviously power. This button here shuts off the LEDs on the front, which some people like, because some of these devices, they have the blue or white or whatever LEDs on the front, and in a dark room they just like a razor to your eyeball. So it's kind of nice. You can shut the LEDs off, mute, switch to USB input, auxiliary input, optical, or I can't remember if that's optical or optional. I think it's, look at the back of this one. It must be optical out. Or no, it's opt-in. So line 1 must be auxiliary in, because they use the same remote for both devices. And this one's got an auxiliary in and auxiliary out, no optical. This one's got a line 1 in and a line 2 in. So I'm going to assume this is line 1 in, and this is optional in 2, so this is probably line 2. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, volume up and down, play, pause, backtrack, forward track. Why doesn't this want to focus? Bass treble has a built-in equalizer, and then you can long press this to reset it back to flat. Bass plus and minus, treble plus and minus. D bass, which is a bass boost, and then profiles 1 through 6. Once we get into the app, you'll see where you can do playlist profiles, where you can save your favorite playlists. And today I'm feeling like playlist 5. You just point this at the device and hit 5, and it's gonna play that playlist that you have saved. So it's not one of those remotes where it's got a bunch of buttons and half of them don't actually do anything. All the buttons on here actually do something. As far as I can tell, they all work. So a very nice little remote. I don't care for the glossy black plastic. I've always said that. It looks cool, but anything you have to touch all the time is going to get a lot of finger traffic. It should not be glossy black. The whole remote should just be matte black. It would be totally fine. So we got the remote out of the way. And then let's do the specs on the S10. All right. Wireless network protocol. If anyone cares, it's EE 802.11, BGN 2.4 only. Ethernet is an RJ45 10100, which is kind of old school, but fast enough to stream music. Bluetooth is 5.0, USB is 2.0, Bluetooth distance 30 meters. Analog output, we already know that, 3.5. Frequency response is 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. Signal to noise ratio on this one is 91 dB at 0.03% THD. So if that's true, those are respectable specs. Music format, it can do FLAC, MP3, AAC, AAC+, ALAC, APE, and WAVE. Sample rate decoding up to 24.192. Protocols are AirPlay, DLNA, UPnP, Spotify Connect, and QPlay. And then let's see if I was right about the LEDs. Network is white, Bluetooth is blue, USB is red, and auxiliary is green. And then dimensions, if anyone cares on this little guy, is 116.2 by 64 by 22.6 millimeters. And if you want to know that, here in inches, 4.57 inches wide by 2.52 inches deep by 0.89 inches high. And it weighs 2.2 kilograms or 0.44 pounds. So that's that on that one. Very nice little device. So now, and I think that it says they do have a reset button. Oh, and I wanted to make a point of this. So I've never seen anything like this. They show, because you may need this if you get it all configured or something's not working and you want to do a reset on it. They show the reset button on this one. This is the auxiliary input coming in the back. The reset button is down in the base inside the auxiliary in. So you got to stick something in the auxiliary input and hold it to press the reset. Which I've never seen anything like this. It took me a second to figure it out, but it's actually, you can't see it. You got to shine like a flashlight down in there. But the reset button is actually down inside the base of the auxiliary input 3.5 millimeter. So you set this in here and let's see if we can hear it click. Hold on. So there you go. Yeah. The little teeny reset button these usually have just somewhere in the back here, you know, to reset the device is down inside the auxiliary. I've never seen that before. But I guess it works. I'm glad they actually show a description. It took me a second to kind of figure out what they were meaning here. But that's where the reset is. That I find if you didn't look at the manual, some people would probably never figure that out. So let's move on to the S50 Pro now. We'll set him over here by his box. All right, let's go over main features. A lot of them are going to be the same. Streaming music via network without distance and limitations. Bluetooth 5.0, 30 meters. This one's Bluetooth 5.0, but it's also aptX HD for true high resolution music. Yeah, I'm not going to get into aptX. Spotify Connect, AirPlay, QPlay, DLNA, UPnP streaming protocols supported. Same thing as the other one. Multi-room, multi-zone. Yeah, AirPlay, Spotify Connect, QPlay, same thing again. This one also supports up to the 24-bit 192 decoding, but the only difference is this one's doing it with the ESS Saber DAC, which is a better DAC. At least it's a known DAC. This one also has coaxial and optical to provide digital audio output. I suppose you could run that if you didn't want to use the DAC in this. You could use those digital outs to connect to an existing DAC or something else you already have, or stereo that you'd rather use the DAC in something else. I would almost rather have the coaxial and optical be a digital input, just so I have more in connections, and then you just run your analog out to your stereo or your preamp. But whatever. Spotify, Deezer, Tidal, Qobuz, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Napster, and lots of other online streaming services. Free iOS and Android app available. The other one has the same thing, but they didn't list that. Free global online update for new features. Also applies to the S10. Full functioning remote. Already went over that. They both use the same remote. 2 line inputs for more possible external audio inputs. EQ adjustment via app or remote. We already went over that on the remote. And preset playlist is available in short buttons on the remote. Yeah, we already went over that. Then it just says iTunes working with PC streaming. So, like I said, I don't think I'm going to get everything covered here, but we'll try. And then the ESS DAC is supposedly the ESS 9023 DAC. Then it says AKM ADC, which is analog to digital converter instead of digital to analog converter, are implemented to make a great sound quality. So this one's supposed to be the higher quality, dare I say, audiophile, more geared wireless streaming preamplifier. And we'll jump over to the specs on this one. Again, IEEE 802.11, BGN 2.4, still 10100 on the Ethernet. Bluetooth is still 5.0 Qualcomm, but it's aptX HD. The USB port on the back is to play music from USB pen drive. Frequency response 20 Hz to 20 kHz. Digital output, again, coaxial and optical. 2 analog inputs, or 1 analog output and 2 analog inputs. Decoding up to 24 192. Music formats again. FLAC, MP3, AAC, AAC+, ALAC, APE, and WAVE. Signal to noise ratio on this is a little higher at 110 dB, which, again, if it actually, the DAC in this is actually putting out 110 dB signal to noise ratio at 0.03% THD. That's pretty darn good. I doubt it's actually that good, but I'm not going to ship these off to Audio Science Review to see if the DACs in these actually perform where they spec. I'm going to say they're probably close to that. It's going to be good enough for probably most people, especially if you're streaming off of Spotify, or if you're not streaming actual like high-res content or anything, it probably won't matter. And again, this one does have lights behind this acrylic front panel that will there's actually one on each side, and as you change inputs, it will change color. And then dimensions, this one's in centimeters instead of millimeters. It's 12 centimeters by 11 by 3.3, or no, sorry, 12 by 11.3 by 3.7 centimeters, or 4.72 by 4.45 by 1.46 inches, 0.4 kilograms, or 0.88 pounds. So it gets that out of the way. Same remote, so we don't really need to cover that. Let's get into the app. So let me get these plugged back in here. Okay, I got them all connected. I got them connected to my Emotiva preamp and amp back there for audio on this one. This one doesn't have isn't hooked to a receiver, but it's plugged in and turned on just to show it shows up as a device, just to show that you can have multiple Arylic devices on the app. And to get started, you have to download the 4Stream app from the from the Play Store, the Android Play Store, or from the Apple App Store. And the only streaming service I have is Spotify, and I don't necessarily stream a lot of music because I have a hard drive with hundreds of gigs of my own music on it, so I don't really use streaming services a whole lot, but anyway. Well, after the 4Stream, I'm not going to show you how to install an app. I hope by now you know how to install an app on a device. You're going to open the 4Stream. My device is already added, but initially what you're going to do is this is going to open, or no, actually before you even do this, let me back up. You're going to go to your settings, and you're going to go to your connections, and I'm already on my network here, but you're going to go up here, and one of these devices is going to show up on your network list, and you're going to connect to it. And then once you're connected to it, and it may say there's no internet available on this wireless Wi-Fi connection, do you want to continue to stay connected or whatever? Click yes. And after you're connected to the device, then you can go into your 4Stream, and then in here, it should find the device. You select it. It'll be some weird number, and select it. It'll connect, and then it'll ask you what Wi-Fi network you want to connect to, and then you select your home Wi-Fi network and connect to it, and then everything's on the Wi-Fi. And like this one, when I went to add it, it didn't. For some reason, it didn't want to show up when I went to add a device, or it wouldn't stay connected. I don't know if I was just doing something wrong, but I basically unplugged it and plugged them back in, and it decided it was going to show up then. So it might have been just a little minor hiccup. It was one of those things I kind of just put it down, walked away from it, came back the next day, tried it again, and everything worked perfectly fine. So anyway, once your devices are added, you'll see them here in the list, and I have named them. They don't come with that name, but you can hit the little gear on them, and you can hit rename. And that's, well, I guess it doesn't show the original name. But they have a bunch of preloaded names like bathroom, bedroom, den, dining, garden, whatever, TV room, whatever. And turn this a little more. Or you can do custom, which is what I did, and I put in, it changed it. It auto-corrected it to acrylic S50 Pro. That's fine. And then once you're done, and you see the little green check next to what you want, you just hit finish. And I guess it didn't autocorrect that one. I did the same thing with this one. I renamed it to Arylic S10. And then you can see both your devices in here. And then These are your volumes. You can control them independently, like this, you know, or you can put them in the same spot. And then if you use the physical volume control, well, oh, they're not linked right now. So whichever one you select is the one that's going to turn the volume up on. Or not. Oh, I think it's because I don't have the devices linked. They're independent or multi-room. Or, yeah. But yeah, you can control both your devices here. So it'd be like if this one, say, was in your living room as your main one, and this one was, you know, out on the deck or something, streaming music out there. You can control the volume of each one, individually. And then right here, I might have to get this a little closer. But over here, you got a little circle that says LR on both of them. You can hit that. And it actually, I think it actually just says it. Turn this up a little bit. Try that again. That's switched to left channel.
Right channel.
Right channel.
Stereo.
Stereo, and you can do that on either one of them. Oh, that one doesn't have any hook to it. So we'll put that back to stereo. But yeah. Got fat fingers or something.
Right channel. Right channel. Stereo.
Okay. So you got your devices both in there. I have the S50 Pro hooked to my stereo, we'll say. We can select that one. And on this one, and here's a list of all the different things. It's got a light reflecting on it. Whoop. You can search favorites, my music, which would be music saved on your device. TuneIn, iHeartRadio, Zima, Leia, I don't know what that is. Spotify, Q Music, Tidal, Internet Radio, Napster, Qobuz, Deezer, Amazon Music, Pandora. Then down here you can add more services. Right now, all the services that are available are already checked. You can, like, say, I don't use any of these except for it'd be Spotify and TuneIn. I use TuneIn to play local radio. So we'll get rid of the rest of these. Boop, come on. Boop. So I'm going to leave TuneIn and Spotify, and then we'll just go back up here, and then now, oh, it left Napster on there. Bye, Napster. Okay, now we'll go back. Now it's only going to show the two services that I usually use. Then you can actually change your inputs, your line in, your Bluetooth, and your line in 2, all from here as well. So I think just to get started, let's do line in. You can see the light. See it turn to green. If I hit Bluetooth, it'll turn blue. I wonder what line in 2 is. It is also green. And then if you go back to Wi-Fi by selecting one of these, the TuneIn or the Spotify, I believe it goes back to white. But we'll do line in because I have my CD player hooked to it. So let me take my remote here and let's play a song. There it goes. Now the CD player is plugged into the line 1 on the back of this. The line out is going from this to my Emotiva preamp amplifier. And got some nice piano music. Oh, I know why the volume's not very high. I'm cranking up my preamp. Too many, like, I would guess you'd set this to whatever, and then we'll go back here. And then there's a little volume down here. There, we'll turn the volume all the way up on the S50. So yeah, now I'm playing music from my analog source. So you hook your CD player. If you had a turntable with a phono preamp or a turntable to phono preamp into this if you wanted, essentially anything analog in. So that works. Bluetooth, I'm not going to demonstrate it because from what I can tell it works just like anything. Once you set this to Bluetooth and go into your Bluetooth connections on a pad or your phone, it's in there. You connect, you play music like anything else that's Bluetooth. So now we're going to go back to Spotify. And you have to have a Spotify account. I don't know if it necessarily has to be a paid account, but you do have to sign in. Okay, we're in my Spotify. And where is my list I had from earlier? Of course, it's not going to show up now. Let's go to my library. All right, copyright free music. We're going to go with that because we're on YouTube. So we'll just tell it to start playing this. Oh, see, it's playing it on the pad. You got to go down here in Spotify and select your device. I want it to play to the S50 Pro, which just shows up. Boom, now it's playing on this. And the light on this turned white. We're going to turn this down a little bit. That's probably really loud. Turn that way down so you guys can hear me. Okay, now we can go back. Oh, we're in Spotify. We need to get back to the other app. So I'm going to go to the things. We're going to jump back to 4Stream. And you can see on here now, there's a little Spotify icon up here. It shows the album art on there. You can select that, and then there's your album art. Play, time, pause, skip to the next song, shuffle, repeat. And then up here it will say Spotify is what you're streaming from. No playlist available because I haven't saved any in there. Then you drag this back up. And then where you save your playlist, there's a little circle with a speaker right here. You hit that. And then in here, content is empty. If I want to save this copyright-free music 2020 list that I'm listening to right now, if I want to save this as a playlist, is hit that. And now it's added to number 1. And anytime I want to play this playlist, I just hit number 1 on the remote. And 1 through 6, even though there's 10 on here, you can access 1 through 6 from the remote. So you could go back to Spotify, select another playlist, come back to here, and select that little speaker and add it to number 2 or whatever. And then let's go back to up here. It shows which device you're using. Let's go back to the device. And again, it shows the album art on the S50 Pro. On the S10 now, let's say out on the porch or something, I want to listen to something else. We'll go to tune in, and then we'll do we'll listen to some oldies. 105.7's a good station around Iowa. And now that tune in's open, you just hit play. It's going to connect to TuneIn. They're going to connect you to KOKZ's music stream, and now it's playing. Whatever, I can't hear it because, like I said, I don't have this hooked to any sort of amplifier. But you can tell the track is going. It's playing music. You can heart this station if you want. You can pause it, play it, stop it. Let's see. It's a little. Okay, yeah. You hit home. Now it takes you back to the device list. And in the device list now, you can see the S50 Pro is playing something from Spotify. The S10 is playing something from KOKZ. So you could have this from one device. You could be playing 2 different sources of audio in the house. Now, if you're having a party and you want to play some sick music for everybody in the in the entire place, whether you got music just in the living room, outside, or in some of the bedrooms, whatever, we'll go back here. We're going to stop this. We're going to go up here, and on the S10, we're going to, we'll just also select Spotify. Well, no, we don't need to. Oh, whoa, how do you do that? Yeah, whatever, we'll just select Spotify. Open Spotify. Let's go back to 4Stream. Go back to home. I think if you just hold down on one, like say you want these 2 to play the same thing, you want their volume and what they play to be linked, you just hold down on one. And a little connection thing will show up right here on the side. See that? Once that shows up and appears, you can let go. And it will think. Basically what it's going to do, the S50 Pro is going to be the master, and S10 is going to become a slave. And now they're both playing the same thing. The tune-in is gone. The image, they are linked. And if you had a bunch of these, you could have a master on the top, and then you could have 3 or 4 of these other ones all slave to it, all playing the same thing. And then, see now when I hit the volume, see how the volumes move together with the master volume on the side of your device. So that's kind of nice. You could control the volume of all the devices in the house at once. Or again, if you don't want to, like in the living room, you know, we're really partying, so let's crank up the living room. But outside, people are trying to, you know, talk, so we're going to turn the outside down or whatever. You know, this one wouldn't be called S10 Pro. If that one was outside, it'd be, you would label it as outside or deck or something. But yeah, pretty cool. I am not good at touching these. Come on. Don't laugh. There it goes. But anyway, I'll turn those down so you can hear me. And again, you use the remote to control the volume. Oops. The remote volume is kind of slow for one reason or another. It takes a second for it to kind of catch on. And then when you have 2 devices, see, these 2 shouldn't be here next to each other like this. They would typically be in separate rooms. So it kind of having them side by side like this kind of confuses them. So I wonder if I cover the IR on the S10, if it'll just lower that there. Now it's just slowing the S50. It's a little more responsive now. I think having 2 of them right here beside each other and one remote is kind of confusing them a little bit. I'm assuming if you actually had them in separate spaces like they're supposed to be, it would work better. But yeah, and then if you don't want them to be linked anymore, you just hold down on the one. Oh, come on. And then drag it away. And it goes back to being on its own. And again, these are basically these are wireless streamers, but since they have a volume control, then they become preamplifiers, because you could use a power amp, such as like a Crown or a Behringer or a QSC or something like that with one of these. I would just be a little careful, again, because the volume on this works great. It's just the volume from the remote is a little laggy, so be aware. But yeah, if you wanted to hook one of these to a bunch of power amplifiers, you could, or you know, you would hook it to your stereo receiver, and if you wanted to control the volume from this, you could set your stereo receiver to the loudest you ever want it to get, and then control the volume up and down with this, etc. There's a bunch of different ways to do everything. And then up here, there's a plus to add devices. There's a refresh to refresh your device list. Again, album art that's playing. Already went over that. Oh, settings down here. Let's go into settings. Version, shows the version there. I have not had to do any updates. I'm assuming it does it on its own. If you want to send feedback, you can put their subject in your email and hit send, which is nice. So if you're having an issue, you can contact them directly within the app and not have to go dig up a contact us online. Oh, let's see. Is it up here? No. Go into menu here. Okay, you can this is on S50 Pro. Same scenario applies for this 10. You can hit speaker info. I don't know why it's called speaker info. It gives you status, Wi-Fi status. It shows you what network you're on. Wi-Fi strength, 100%. The IP address of that. The MAC address of that. Your hotspot status. Basically all your information. Speaker name, firmware version, build date, blah, blah, blah. And then down here there is a restore factory settings. And then it'll ask you to confirm. On the S50, there is just a little pinhole button that you would stick a paper clip or something in to reset it. like you would typically see on like a wireless router or something. So I didn't really show you that one because that one's very obvious. And then your languages, change device language. It looks like it's only giving me the option of Chinese or English, so I'll leave that on English. Let's go back. Not completely back now. Preset content. This is that list I was working on earlier. Shows in here. That's just showing you the list of preset. I don't like how it backs all the way out. It should just back to this menu. You can set a sleep timer. Sleep timer on, and then right here you can 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes. The timer starts right up there all the way up to 90 minutes. I don't know if you can't do in between. And then you can go down here to EQ if you want. You got a treble you can move up and down, and a bass you can move up and down. Now you can do this from the remote via the bass up and down and treble up and down buttons right here, and then reset to flat, which puts them both back at 0. But the D bass, there is no D bass in here, so I guess it doesn't really matter. But if you wanted to primarily control this from your pad, which is what I would recommend, or your phone, and you want to use that D bass, there should be a little D bass on/off icon in here. And back again, it backs out. It backs all the way out. Yeah, I think we already went over the rename, so I think that about covers everything. It's very functional, very useful. Again, I know there's other, we'll say, name brand streamers out there. I'm not going to name names. That may be a little, a little more, maybe a little more featured and just issues resolved and just, got all the kinks worked out. I have not really noticed really any issues with this. All this stuff I've just done in the video has worked every time I've used it. It works great. The only thing I've noticed that's a little bit frustrating is the volume from the remote seems to be a little delayed, or sometimes it seems like it gets a little confused. But it really hasn't been an issue because I don't use the physical remote for volume. I do all my volume from within here, just because it's easier. I mean, because you can always just hit that, and it's just way easier to do it this way than to get right back to your whatever you're playing. So, and then as far as the connecting it to a foobar, I don't use foobar, but they do in the back of the manual here. They do give you good instructions, pretty much on exactly what to do to get your foobar library linked to your your S50 Pro or your 4-stream. And then there's some Q&A back here too. I hadn't had to use any of it. And then the manual, they do. I'm gonna say for a. I believe this is a Chinese product. Sometimes their manuals are terrible. This one, on the other hand, is really good. I will give them that. They got clear instructions, pictures of the screen of what's happening. Unless you get into a situation that's just really off the cuff, the manual should get you completely through the process. And I don't want to say I use streamers all the time. These are actually the first devices I've had exactly like this. But I've done quite a bit of other audio stuff with Android, so getting all this stuff connected up and working, I didn't even need to use either manual. I kind of, you just plug it in and kind of just do the generic routine, and pretty much all came together and just worked. So I will give them that. Very frustration free. And then even after you were to, turn these devices off and shut it off on your phone, next time you come back, you hit power, you could just leave it on, I suppose, if you wanted to, and then just disconnect your device from it. But you can power it off from your remote, and then it's gone. Close the app on your phone, and next time you come back and you open up 4-stream, and as long as you're on your Wi-Fi, the devices they're just there. You don't have to reconnect them every time. They're just there. It's like I said, I've had very little issue with these, so I think considering what some of the other ones cost, I think these were, I don't want to see about half the price because I don't know exactly for sure, but they are definitely more affordable or budget friendly than some of the other ones. And as far as I can tell, they do everything they're supposed to do. So I will give them that. I have not really had any quarrels. Yeah, I mean, not everything on them is the highest quality, but then again, the price you're paying, you're getting, from what I can tell, you're getting a good device that is performing everything they say it can at a reasonable price. So, will I be using them? Probably not right now. It is kind of nice, you know, something like this. It's also a Bluetooth. They should both switch to Bluetooth. Yeah, there, it stopped playing because now it's going to look for Bluetooth. But you can set the Bluetooth your phone to it and just use it as a Bluetooth preamplifier if you wanted to. So there is a good amount of functionality still with them, even if you don't want to use the app. So then we can switch it back to Wi-Fi and see if it comes back up on here. Don't make me look stupid. Now I'm going to look like an idiot because I just praised this thing. I think it just stops everything. I think you can go back in here, go to Spotify, open. Yeah. Well, we'll select my playlist. And yeah. To get back to the four stream, you just go back to your menu and go back here and there you go, right back at it. So I couldn't ask for much more. I mean, again, they seem to do exactly what they're supposed to do. They do it pretty swiftly. As far as I'm concerned, good products for the money. Arylic did send me these for review. They contacted me for review. I accepted just because I have not really gotten to spend much time with devices like this because I don't stream music around my house. I have what my YouTube area here is also my music area. So when I want to listen to music, I take time out of my day and come down here and do that. I don't often have music streaming around the house. But that may change because now that I have that option, I might set it up and give it a try. So if you guys have any other questions, I know I'm probably forgetting something, but if you have any other questions about these devices, just put them in the comments below. I will try to help you. Or if you have something that I didn't cover and missed, ask down in the bottom. I will mess with it. If you want me to try and do the foobar thing, I can always install foobar and try to set it up and get it to work if you want me to do that. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. All right, see you later, guys.